Let's go over setting up PALS, pipeline for analyzing lesions after stroke. There's two ways to set this up. One is through direct use and another is through Docker container. This video will cover both. I'm beginning here by creating a directory called PALS walkthrough, which will contain all the files related to PALS. I've created a data folder which has the R044 dataset from Enigma. It contains 4 subject data, where each subject has a T1 and a lesion mask. It can also alternatively contain the white matter segmentation files, although it is optional because you can generate those using PALS. So first we have to begin by ensuring that we have Python 3.9 installed. Make sure that you first cd into your directory. So now I've cd'd into my directory, and I'm going to ensure that Python 3.9 is installed by using this command. So I have Python 3.9 installed. Next we need to install the virtual environment which is recommended for running PALS, and this can be done by this command. So now that I've installed my virtual environment, I need to create a virtual environment, which can be done by using this command. This will create a virtual environment called PALS_VENV. As you can see, this has created an additional folder called PALS_VENV. Now I can activate this by using this command. You can also deactivate this using the deactivate command. Next, we need to install PALS, which can be done using this command. This can take some time, so give it a couple minutes. We need to clone the GitHub repository for PALS into our machine and then install all of the dependencies before running it. But before cloning, let's ensure that FSL is installed and installed in our machine as it's required to run Float. To clone the repository, you can run this command, which is available on GitHub. As you can see, this has created a directory called PALS, which contains our code. Next, you need to cd into PALS and ensure that there are two files, requirements.txt and run_pals.py. Requirements.txt consists of all of the dependencies that are required. To install all the dependencies, you need to run this command. Now that all the dependencies are installed, we're ready to run PALS. That can be done by using this command, Python 3.9 space run_pals.py. There you go. PALS is up and running, and you can use this to process your data. When we cloned our GitHub repo, there was also a file called user underscore files, which contains all the files to get you started. The R044 dataset is the same dataset that I spoke about in the beginning of my video. And this ROI folder contains all the ROIs. And these two MNI files are the reference files that will be useful for running PALS. First, you need to create a data directory which needs to contain all of the input files, including your reference files, your input data, and your ROS folder. Then create an output folder where you would like your output to be stored. Create a config folder which should contain your config.json. Your config.json can be generated by using the PALS config generator. You can find the link on GitHub, but the page looks something like this. Make sure that you do not change the name of your config file. To make sure that Docker is running, you can use this command. Once you see this hello from Docker message, that means your Docker is running. You are now ready to use PALS using Docker, and here is the command for it. Ensure that in the command you do not change this input, output, and config values. Here, my input directory data consists of all my files, including the MNI files, the subject data, and the ROIs. In the command, you just need to replace your input, output, and config directory paths. This is the output after PALS has run successfully using Docker.